let's get titles and deeds.
Yes, sir.
Right. You know?
That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm transitioning to actually having some type of assets, and the biggest thing for me, and it's gonna tie into what you said. So the biggest thing for me is having death in the family, and then not having anything left over. You know what I'm saying?
Insurance?
Or
You mean like
insurance
Right.
and property, cars, different things like that, and then like not to put anybody's business to it, but I knew somebody that was in a car accident, and they were in the hospital for about a year and a half,
Right.
and their wife knew nothing.
I mean, like as far as like
The finances, or how to get to the banks, and nothing, and then end up losing their house, cars, and stuff, and then whole time. It bothered me because I'm like, dang, this is your person, and they can't even, not knowing, like, say if that was me, I was laid up in that hospital bed, my house and everything is gone, all because of an unfortunate accident, and they weren't able to take care of themselves. So like you were saying with the generational wealth and how they think it's gonna be at zero, I feel like personally me, and I could be wrong, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the information is starting to go out there. I feel like they just like playing dodgeball. Like, we throwing this stuff at you. We're finding out new stuff that took us over 20 to 40 years to find out.
Right.
But actually, now it's time for us to accept it. And then, not just accept it, but actually put it to use.
that was good right there, bro. I'm so glad you put that last piece on. So glad you put that on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like at that point to where, like, okay, now I know. I accept what I'm doing. It's maybe not wrong, but I could have did this the other way. Like how you said, okay, I could probably cook some spaghetti and go and get this steak.
Yes.
Now, the information I'm starting to learn and seek from other people, because now I'm asking questions. Now I'm looking into stuff. How do I put it to me and start using it?
Absolutely, man. I mean, well, you know, years ago, let's back it up a little bit, right? So when we're talking about insurance and various things like that, like you had laws and you had things that were in place to really not put us in position to actually win.
I'm starting to see that now.
So, you know, they would sell life insurance that is only going to give you the death benefit and talk about how you can borrow against it and all of that, but not tell you how to borrow against it and what is the consequence of borrowing against these things, right? So you may have grandma who had an insurance policy that was good enough to actually take care of everything, but she also understood that she could cash value withdraw from it. So she withdraw from it
don't say
to
nothing.
pay for some foolishness, a cruise, or whatever, right? And then she passes, and then now you're understanding that it's subtracted from the actual death benefit.
That's what happened to my daddy. It happened the same way to my daddy. The same exactly.
And now we stuck holding the bag, trying to figure out how to put you in the ground.
Well, what happened with him was it paid for his funeral because he was in the military, and you know they got their own burial site, so that's free. But it paid for all his embalming and stuff in his casket, and then the remaining balance left over, I think it was probably like $2,000.
And that fell on y'all.
That
fell on the family?
No, I'm talking about that he had left out of the policy that they could give to us.
Right.
Well, but when the policy was originally, I think it was 40 or 50,000.
Right. Like that. So, you know, I mean, but these things happen, right? So if we bring that forward, the knowledge is there. You have our generation now that we hip hop. You know, we grew up like we went through that pain. We lived through that pain. And so now, as we're becoming professionals in our own right, we have to have dialogue conversations like this to say, okay, if you got a family, like, what's the contingency plan? Like, how much insurance do you have? Like, look at, if something happens right now, do I have enough coverage to actually pay off my crib, pay off my cars, finish taking my daughter to school, paying for her college, whatever the case may be.
That's my biggest fear, man.
Things,
I just don't want them to skip a beat.
Right.
Only thing you should ever worry about is missing meat. Not the liability I put on them, not the bills, you know what I'm saying? Or you should be like, dang, my dad did look good in this picture. Right. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, what I'm going to do with this car? What I'm going to do with this house? Then now you're unfolding other stuff that you don't know about that now somebody coming after you for. Correct. And I just don't want that to happen to me. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I got a question, though. So in these days right now, or just in your life, period, what would you suggest a person to do? Would you suggest them to get insurance policy first or purchase a house? Well, we'll say even if you got the house, the insurance policy. Would you? How should I say this? I had it in my mind. I just forgot. The way you buy them, because everybody sells insurance, but it's different ways you can buy insurance that where it becomes generational wealth for your family.
Right. Well, I mean, when it comes to insurance, I'm not an insurance professional, right? So I can't really talk, and I'm not gonna say some things that might get fact checked and all of that. But I have a lot of guys that are in that industry that you could always tap in with me, and I can get you in touch with them.
Right.
But when you think about how you stack rate things, the goal of the insurance is to be able to pay for stuff when you don't have the money.
Okay.
Right. So so if we're saying, okay, cool, for everything you do inventory in what you have in your life. So if you don't have a house, or you only got cars, you only got some things, you may only need $150,000 of life insurance policy because you don't have a lot of stuff to pay off.
Right.
But once you actually buy your house and things like that, you just change. You just increase the amount of the policy that you have to make sure that what you have is covered if you leave. And so, these are things that I had to learn as well. So it's just taking the steps somewhere, talking to somebody in some capacity that can at least drop some kind of gem on you, and not, and then from there, like when it comes to saying, okay, should I have a life insurance policy or have a house first? I don't think there's a particular order. I think that you should always have some level of life insurance on whatever the case may be.
Right.
So that way your family is not left trying to do a GoFundMe or something like that to actually pay for your burial expenses, which is what we were talking about outside, right? And so, it may only start with what you can afford right now, but as you start to grow and you start to get more assets and buy more in your life and you grow, then you can just increase the amount of insurance that you have just to make sure that we cover it properly.
Okay, so my thing, I guess I had confused you. I confused myself too, but what I was really inquiring was which one would be a better investment.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them.
For real? Because what I've noticed about Grant Cardone, I was watching something that Grant Cardone said, right? And he was telling me that, watching it, and he was saying that you can actually build generational wealth off of insurance policies. Absolutely. But then he said what happens is if you don't want them to get it all at one time, then you put it in a trust.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And it breaks down every year to pay them.
Absolutely. And so, okay, so you're talking about a trust, right? With a trust, it is basically like, okay, so a couple things that we just don't talk about in our community. It's like having a will and having trust. Right. So that means that if anything happened, I have instructions as to what's going to happen with what I've amassed in my lifetime. Right. So, this amount is going to go here. The dope thing about a trust is you can put your houses in it, you can put cars in it, you can put all kinds of things, but you can actually leave instructions to make sure that say you pass and like for me, I got 3 daughters, right?
Right.
So if something were to happen, it's like, okay, this lump sum was going to go here, and then they may get a couple $100 a month.
Okay.
Until they get to a certain age.
Okay, that's what I want to do.
You see what I'm saying? And everybody's situation varies. Everybody's situation is a little bit different.
Right.
And so you got to figure out what works for you. And then from there, you can just put some type of plan in place.
Okay.
It's true when you talk about trust and all this stuff is a real high level, but it's like, okay, I'm here. All of the things that you hear and digest on social media is way up here.
Way up there.
Right?
Yeah.
They make it sound so easy, too.
Sometimes is it even accurate?
Yeah, and that's why I'm asking. Yeah.
Most of the time it's accurate, but you may not get the fine print. And these things that are happening up here may not even apply to you yet.
Right.
So it's principles and foundations that you need to have in place before you even get there. So, like, if you can't save $100 out your check every month, what the hell is having a trust matter?
Right. It don't even make no sense. Yeah.
This man right here is dropping gems.
Okay,
Facts.
so
And I got some other, but go ahead, Jern.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to ask about commercial property purchasing. Like, okay,
See, I like the way Jern think because I was about to swing in that.
Like that, yeah. Because you know that's a different process from buying a house in your personal name. You know what I'm saying? And like the requirements of it. Like, what will be your requirements of buying commercial property?
Well, one of the things that we've kind of mastered in how we flow when it comes to commercial is we have, we're brokers, so we have multiple institutions that we can send the deal to, which gives us the ability to kind of almost tailor fit something to your particular plan. The biggest caveat in it is if you're buying an actual commercial building, you got to have at least a 650 credit score, and you got to have 30% down.
That's it.
Like that. That's it, man. 30%. Shit, that commercial property might be $100,000. You got to have 30,000.
$30,000.
Well, let me ask you this. So I'm gonna give you a scenario because this is what I kind of want to swing into, and I'm glad that you brought up the trust and insurance. So, for somebody like me, your title is tell me your title.
I'm the managing partner of the SimonWrayGroup.
So, okay, so you're the managing partner. So you are a corporate mortgage broker, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure I got that right.
That sounds about right. I like how that sounds.
I just want to make sure I was on point.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a scenario. So I want a warehouse for because I want to get out of trucking. I want to buy a warehouse and I want a freight for it. Right. I'm looking for something that's at least about 30 miles from the airport.
Got it.
I can get 10 to 12 trucks in at a time.
Got it.
What would be the process and what would I need to do to make that happen?
Have a 650 credit score and have 30% down.
Like that. Just that.
It's that simple.
What about the searching of the property?
That's where actually having an agent kind of works in, because they're going to be that person that goes to help you find the property.
And I'm glad you asked me that because I was going to ask you what's the difference between a broker and an agent.
Right. So the agent is the person that actually helps you go find the property. They'll sit down and have a conversation with you in terms of like, what are your specifications? Like what you broke out to me is warehouse,
12 trucks.
Yeah. I want this amount of space. I need it to be this close in proximity to the airport and things of that nature because of trucking routes and things of that nature. So I picked that up just because my background is being a small business banker. And so I'm, my whole career is to pull those things out and then come up with a solution for it. What an agent does is they're going to go find that property. Okay. Right? What we do is we'll give you the pre-approval for it. So we're going to get the docs, we're going to get all of that stuff. We're going to do the application, and we're going to pull the credit. Make sure that you're in position to actually buy that. We give that pre-approval out to the agent, and they go help you find it.
Okay.
So you're the final. So what they were saying in the hood. So you the final boss.
Yeah, he get the damn check. That's what it sounds like. He get the check for it.
You got entry level, then you meet the final boss. At the end of the mission. You know what I'm saying?
The final level. Right?
I remember the dude, the white dude that I signed my papers for my house, man. He said, "Yeah, you signing yourself to your 30-year sentence, huh?" I was like, "What? 30 years
That's
sentence?"
the first time I heard that.
Yeah, but he kept it real with me. He was like, "Well, but this what you can do to get up out of it."
So what's the, not necessarily from my understanding, but maybe those who have questions, what's the difference between residential property and commercial property? But I may have a residential property that's big enough to be considered a commercial property, and if I did want to turn a commercial property into my residence, I hope I'm not losing you.
No, I'm with
Okay. How would I specify the difference between the two that could actually work in my favor?
Comes in the zoning. That's where zoning comes in, right?
Okay.
So